It's good for 60 miles.
When I was a kid, you know, it's short. When I was put on whole foods, and they come on a long time, in 3 weeks, they will have to take a hot water around the horse on Wednesday. And that was kind of Sunday, you want to turn it on Sunday. Everything. And I was well, that was. I had to like her on the shoulders. Like this, I was carrying her across the fence. Solar system.
I bet you can fan that.
You ready to start?
All right. I'll have you anyway.
We're recording here, but we also have to record here. All right, at this time, we'll call this regular meeting, the Hill County Commissioners Court to order. This is 23rd day of November, 2021. It's 8:30 a.m. here in the Hill County Courthouse. Let the record reflect this meeting was posted in accordance with Texas Government Code 551, better known as the Texas Open Meetings Act, and the form of commissioners is presently established. All right, now we got that out of the way. Paula, did anybody why ask Paula? No, she's off this week. After 42 years, she tells me take off with Thanksgiving. I just say yes, ma'am. So, in which case, I have not had anybody sign up to speak or open the form on video, but we'll get to that in a second. First and foremost, before any great undertaking, if we would, brother, would you lead us in a word, please? Thank you.
Will you pray with me? Good morning, God of amazing grace. During this week of Thanksgiving, we come before you today with grateful hearts. We thank you for the freedoms that we enjoy in this great country and for the people, especially those U.S. military veterans who gave so much that we might have these freedoms. We thank you for the privilege of living in the great state of Texas and specifically for the privilege of living in Hill County, Texas. We thank you for the lifestyle that our rural county affords. We thank you for all the fine citizens who are our neighbors, and especially for those who represent us in this court. May we never take any of this for granted. And as the Hill County Commissioners Court convenes on this fine morning, may you guide their decisions. May your guidance and your Holy Spirit be upon them. May they make sound choices that are in the best interest of the citizens of our county. May they have brave, strong voices that speak up for what is right. May they be good listeners who are able to sift the wheat from the chaff and what they hear. And may each of them look to you as the source of their strength and wisdom. May each of our commissioners look beyond themselves and truly seek to make a positive difference in our county. And may they be abundantly blessed for and by their actions. Give them the courage to make the unpopular decision when it needs to be made. Give them the insight and creativity to unselfishly lead where you would have us go. We ask that a double portion of your Holy Spirit fall upon our county judge, the Honorable Justin Lewis, as he presides over this court. We ask your blessings upon Commissioners Andrew Montgomery, Larry Crumpton, Scotty Hawkins, and Martin Lake. May you do for them far beyond all that we could ask or imagine by your power at work within them. God bless the USA, God bless Texas, and God bless Hill County. This our thanks and our petition I bring to you in the name of the Christian triune understanding of the only God, in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Lord, in your mercy, hear our prayer. Amen.
Thank you so much. Normally, we'd have a pledge at this time, flagging the flag. We're going to skip that, so forgive me. Come on in, make yourself comfortable as you can. All right, so thank you very much, I appreciate you, Mayor. Brother Mayor, Pastor Mayor. Forgive us, this hopefully is temporary digs until we get that cool room put back together and we get more room spread out. Montgomery, what's going on precinct 1 today?
Oh, we're trying to continue repaving some of those main roads and the subdivisions that have been bad for a long, long time. Trying to spread the money as far as it goes. With breakdowns and, shorthanded, doing what we can. got a bit of good news though. People stopped dumping tires in my precinct and they started together. They're piling them up at our barn. And there was a fellow came by the other day and stole about 50 of them. Well, I didn't call the sheriff about it. But I thought that was kind of entertaining. I wasn't sure the thought behind that.
Does he need some more?
Well, I was going,
Scotty, I got a few.
he stole almost 50 tires. Loaded them up, loaded them up.
We'll have to categorize that as staff. That seems like he's doing his favor.
Yeah, we'll help him load.
Being a
office.
Very good. Good deal. Commissioner, what's going on with precinct 2?
Oh, trying to spot some rotten bad places and, well, 2348, we replaced the wooden bridges that, Yoder finished it yesterday and probably have it open back up Monday. And, we're only down to 3 wooden bridges in precinct 2.
That's quite the improvement.
And, hopefully, Tech Stop has 2 of them on their bridge replacement program. It's slow, and I've only got 1 more, maybe in the next year and a half, depending on what happens, March. Maybe we'll replace it next year.
Good deal. Commissioner Watkins, what's happening in precinct 3?
Slow week this week. I got 3 guys took off for Thanksgiving holiday, so I've only got 3 employees. We're changing oil, doing things like that right now.
Okay, maintenance week.
Maintenance week, yes.
Nothing wrong with maintenance. Commissioner Lake, what's happening in precinct 4?
Now we got 2 road graders going and 3 boom shredders and 1 shredder. So it's trying to get the trees all trimmed back in the road where people maybe not have wrecks on the corners.
That sounds like a good plan. Appreciate it. Sheriff, what's going on down in your part of the world?
We deployed the drone again last weekend on a suicidal person in the woods, took a bunch of pills, and find her and get her.
Yeah, I saw that. And it's incredible how far that night vision has done on those things.
Yeah, it's really, it's a great tool.
It's something else. Tom, what's going on, emergency management?
Well, Judge, we've been kind of getting put to bed some projects. We have 505 that's pretty much done. We're getting close to making a plan to get the PPE out of the fairgrounds
Okay.
over there so we can clear the fairgrounds from fairs.
And I was gonna make an announcement that the testing that's running out of the fairgrounds right now, that contract ends on December 30th, I believe, December 31st, and we're not re-upping it this time. It doesn't look like the numbers justify continuing to have that free testing as much of a boon as it's been for our county. I think that January 1st is gonna be back on your doctor's office and tested for COVID. So, anyway, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Anyway, you know, that hit on that. We did the first phase of the dispatch upgrade last week. Thanks to IT, the sheriff's department, the inmates, everybody, made a lot of difference in making room in dispatch. I think we have enough cables for anybody that needs some. There's quite a few that were not being used. Not this week, but next week, we'll finish the upgrade for dispatch, getting into the new telex software, the new computers and screens, and that'll finish that project. We finally got we've been working for 9 weeks with Motorola on this radio upgrade. We finally got their proposal yesterday. That'll set you back in your seat.
But 96 pages, yeah, the number's huge, but the 96
Yeah, I mean,
pages.
I guess they have to justify that big number with a lot of contract. But that project's in front of us, so there's just a lot of things that we got on our plate. But as far as local stuff going on, this week's kind of slow. Everybody's kind of doing other things, thinking about Thanksgiving, so.
Okay.
And we want to thank Phil and Tom for that. They worked really hard this week. We've got something running. Thank y'all.
Phil, what's going on in IT?
Kind of echo, some of Tom's sentiment. IT's been working over at the sheriff's office a lot recently. We finally got the live scan fingerprint computer upgraded back in the jail. Had to get our CJIS audit behind us in order to be able to get that done. Also the military dispatch that we did. Still waiting on computers. We got a lot of computers on back order. I guess it's the whole chip shortage thing, and so we haven't really been able to do a lot of upgrades recently because we're just waiting on computers to do it. So other than that, it's day to day.
Yeah, I think you guys stay fairly busy. Yeah. Any other elected official got anything they need to announce this morning? No?
And we can included a copy of the utilities just for the year that was put on the website and overall. For the whole county, TXU usage went down 9.6% from the prior year. And believe it or not, through our.
I can't believe we're down at all after February.
And the water was down 7.6% from the prior year. So anyway, the TXU dollars were about the same. I guess they're, charge us more for transmission and delivery, but anyway, we're saving water and saving kilowatts.
All right, from this chair, let's first talk courthouse construction. We continue to move forward in the construction here. There's no way they're gonna meet their deadline of December 1st, that's next week. However, the floor in the county courtroom is getting several coats of varnish. If you like that smell, come sit with me this afternoon, I promise you it'll give you a headache. Once that's done, they're moving over into what's going to be the county court of law courtroom. There's several touch-up items around the courthouse, blue tape checks will start happening next week. We're finally seeing the light at the end of the tunnel on this project, we're close to being wrapped up. At 505, as Tom said, North Waco Street, that project almost all but done. We're waiting on the gate and chain link. We installed the generator, the propane tank, put the fence around both, putting a fence around the other air conditioning unit. And we have a bid for the cameras that are going to go in there. It's a total of 9 images. It's technically 3 cameras, 2 quads and a single, but keep the stuff that we put in there from walking off. So that continues to move forward. On the west side of the county, as of Friday, checking up with the title company, things are moving along nicely. They've got escrow money, they've got the contract, they're doing the background research, the buyers purchased new surveys, they're waiting on that. And we need to follow up with our environmental survey this week, and I'll do that today to make sure that continues to move forward. I think that there's still conversations on the AIA contract for the AgriLife building. And this afternoon, soon I'll have a second walkthrough on the Cuttington Street process. I've got another group of people that will walk through that building today at 2 o'clock. So that's the construction front of things. Otherwise, we're going into the holiday season, and I'll make everybody a reminder, hey, check on those in your neighborhood that need checking. There's some folks around that have had some hard couple of years. The fact of the matter is, it's incumbent upon us as human beings to go look in on our neighbors and do what we can. The holidays are tough on a lot of people. It can be lonely, and the best thing we can do is reach out to another fellow human and say, hey, how are things today? If it's just as simple as dropping by and saying hello, it matters. It matters a lot to folks. That being said, other things, let's get into politics. As you know, redistricting moves forward. We redistricted JP's commissioners' council precincts. We're still working with redistricting council to get the election precinct final out, but we know that we're going to be in a different congressional district. That Congressman Jake Elsey, he'll be here at 11 o'clock this morning over at the old historic city hall here in Hillsborough. He got a few moments. I got notice about 10:30 last night. He's going to show up, so I said I'd spread the word. If anybody's interested in meeting your future congressman, won't be our congressman until January 1st, 2023, but I guess it may not even be then. You don't know. He's planning on coming down here. So that's what we're looking at the moment. That's quite a bit. If you've got questions about any of that, please catch up with me, send me an email, phone call, whatever. If you call the main office this week, Miss Paula, who's got 42 years with the county, said, I'm taking off. So she took off, and that's how that works. So if you don't get me, leave me a message, you call me on my cell phone. That's how easy it is. All right. We've had our say at this point. It's open forum. If there's somebody here to speak to something that's not on our agenda, please, this is your opportunity to address the court. If you would, keep your comments to about 3 minutes or so in duration. And as we respect you, please show respect to the court. So I'll open the floor to open forum. Online, there's a Galaxy A52 5G. Are you here to speak? I'm asking because normally you have to send my secretary an email, and well, she's not here, so.
They're muted.
Yeah, they probably don't want to talk, but we had this a while back. We had somebody sign up for open forum, and there's somebody, maybe it was them on them, but didn't have a name. They asked, waited a couple minutes, nothing. In the meeting, waited a couple minutes, nothing, and then got roundly chastised later for not calling that person. So I don't know what to do with this.
We're talking when I left to come down here about upstairs, so it might be somebody in my office or the treasurer's office. They were looking at how to get in on the link. So
As long as it's not somebody.
it's a possibility. I don't know.
Well, anybody here in the room that wants to speak to something that's not on the agenda this morning? Yes, sir.
I don't know if is officially on the agenda or not, but I came here to make a comment about the county roads that you're gonna close down.
Yeah, so there's a proposal and that will be on the agenda and we'll definitely take a commentary at that time. I appreciate that. Is everybody here pretty much from the county roads? Yes, I knew this. Over here, y'all as well? Well, I tell you what, I know I love having y'all with me today, but we'll move that up on the agenda this morning so we can give you guys an opportunity. All right, well, if there's nobody here for open forum, I'm gonna move along then. Let's first take care of the consent agenda. The consent agenda is action on invoices and minutes, action on minutes of November 9th and 12th, 2021. Action on invoices November 23rd, 2021, payroll for November 19th, 2021, and action on monthly report for revenue and disbursements. You'll find a majority of that information in emails from the treasurer's office or in your packet.
Make a motion approved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda as presented. Is there any decision? Any additions, completions, deletions, corrections? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. All right, let's go to court orders. If the court so pleases and allow me to, I'm going to go ahead and move down here to number 11. This is the first of 4 proposed actions on county roads. Number 11 is discussion on action on posting a notice of proposed road change to a portion of Hill County Road 1431. And that proposed road change gives 2 latitude and longitudes that I will read out to you. Is there anybody here to speak on 1431? Yes, sir. Go ahead. If you could identify yourself for record, please.
Okay, so my name is Seth Strickland. I live on 1431.
Okay.
Which is a dead end road. And so part of the road, I live about halfway between the start and the stop of that road, and that part's in a floodplain, and it gets covered with water from time to time. So I like having the road down at the end that allows me to get out to the other road, even though you got to use an ATV or a tractor right now to get down it, you can still do it. So
You live on that road and you are not in favor of closing it.
absolutely.
Thank you very much. Gentlemen, I think that preempts us from taking any action whatsoever on this because it has to be all landowners abutting that road have to be in favor of closing the road. And absent having a single landowner, just one that says no, there's no action we can take.
I mean, my land doesn't touch the road, the actual part of the road that you're talking about closing, but I'm on the dead end road that touches that road. I don't know if that.
Okay, but because of the part of that road is underwater part of the year, you say it's a low-lying area?
Not every year, but yeah, it's in a floodplain. It gets covered up and stuff. So that's my 2 cents for sure.
Thank you, Mr. Strickland. I appreciate that.
The portion that Commissioner Wade's trying to close, I think is just growing up with vegetation. Is that?
Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean,
there's trees.
There's no actual road there.
not for a car. I ride an ATV down it all the time. You can get through it.
So if we were to pick,
There's a road.
oh, roads are really liberal term.
Yeah. There's no road there.
So
You can see it's all trees.
we're simply proposing to abandon our ability to maintain that road. We're not saying somebody can't travel on the road. Is that correct?
Okay, I mean, that's a clarification, I suppose, but if you officially abandon it, how are we gonna know that people have the right to still ride on it and use it? And another question is, does somebody that lives on that road, do they have the right to go down there and clean it up if they want to? Can I take my tractor down there and clean it up?
That's not your road. That's not your land down there. Only the landowner can clean that up. So,
Okay.
I mean, it's grown up. I don't even know how you get an ATV.
Oh, it's apparently your picture is not accurate. I drove down 2 days ago.
Took this picture probably a couple months ago. You don't think that's it?
Yeah, that's it, I guess, but I ride down it all the time.
So do you own property in there?
Well,
No, you got another road that comes off it, I think is what you're saying.
Well, 1431, where this road is about, I don't know, a mile long or so, the dead end part, and I'm about halfway down that road, the dead end part. And then if you go all the way down to the dead end, this little overgrown part will to tie it into another road. I don't know where it ties into another county road.
Who owns the property at the end of the road?
I don't know his name.
I think it's Jason Holmes.
Is that the only access to their property?
Not his.
No, we're just stopping where it's up to the next house. The house up there, but some, precinct 1 road, somebody years ago had needed an ambulance. And they came around his road and got all those trees and couldn't get there because the road was named. Karen has renamed that a private road, so we have moved back off where their property was not affected. It's just where it's all grown up, so it's, you've got probably 150 yards of road in front of their house. And I guess that's-
Mike?
Well, you're welcome. I got a couple more. I'll give it to you.
No.
So the landowners need to sign this completion of road work, portion of the road we're proposing to take action on. They're all in agreement on this? Okay, so those landowners, I guess this understanding, we're talking to Strickland, yeah, he owns his property, but that way, he does not, it sounds like.
But you know, when it's flooded in there, if you can only get out in an ATV, you're not really gonna be able to, unless you want to take an ATV a long ways. And I'm not sure how legal they are to be out there down out.
So my curiosity is, where's this person, the other access he has to his road, where's it flooding at? Is that on 1431 flood, or is that somewhere else?
I had not noticed the flooding. I haven't been down there in the second part of that.
Yeah, it's on 1431. There's a 90-degree turn right where my property is, and there's a big old culvert that goes under there, and sometimes it's not able to keep up, and the water will go over the road there. And I've seen it so high where you don't really want to drive through it. You know, understand that.
What is this road run off of?
It runs up here, when you leave out of Covington, you go west, that first road to your right, you've got that road and then it comes up and line turns off to the right. Just maybe half a mile out of Covington. Road goes to the north there.
Yeah.
And you go up to that corner and line goes to the right.
So you go, that's the lane, you take a right. That's what
Oh, that's the.
Yeah, that's off 67.
That's
Your
correct.
county club. Oh, okay.
And you need that road. Because I have to go 3 years to get to it.
I'm sorry. Somebody talked to me here last year about closing that road. It goes all the way up to 1425. But I tried to drive down, of course, I was in a pickup. And then I realized, that's Mark Lake Road. And you can't. So what road do you live on?
1431.
Your house is on 1413? But you're closing past his house?
Yeah, before it's all grown up there, it's all trees and brush and everything.
What would it take to make sure that road didn't get on water on the other side of his house?
You're gonna have to get the landowners to give you some more room. That road is very narrow in there and,
You know where the culvert is?
Pardon?
The culvert, the water goes over, do you own on one side of that? You do?
you go there
Right there in the corner,
on that corner.
on the outside part of the corner.
Yeah.
Not on the inside.
Do you know who owns the inside? We can find out.
Somebody built a house there, they just started a house there.
That's what we definitely do if we take action on closing this portion, making sure the other portion stays above the water.
Okay, we'll do that. I recommend closing.
All right, motion on the road, motion on the table to close a portion of Hill County Road 1431. The proposed road change would be from 32.190484, negative 97.280936, 32.1899086, negatives 97.274642. Is there a second to the motion?
So
Have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion on the topic? Okay. If not, I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. So we'll post that proposed and set a public hearing. A proposed public hearing. You got a date in mind on the proposal? The public hearing, action posting notice of the proposed road, so we're gonna post notice.
We're posting all of these.
I'm telling you, it's on my agenda, it doesn't say close, my agenda says posted, so we can't close the road, it ain't properly agenda.
You just skip all of it.
So the agenda item I wording I've got is incorrect to close roads. We can take no action to close any road today. But since everybody's here already, who's here to talk about 3412? Go ahead, guys. Everybody's against closing 3412? Does any of you live on 3412? Good enough for me. That's
3412 and 3217 are one and the same.
okay. They're the same road. 32.
Yeah, they connect.
Okay.
13 to each other.
So we're not taking any action on closing those. Then. All right, good deal. Thank you. And last but not least, 4267.
Katie stop in Detroit.
Ted,
Katie stop in Detroit.
yo, you don't know Ted? Oh, we got somebody to introduce you to.
I did get a call from Vinnie Tuts on that. He never would say whether or not he was actually opposed to it. He said, well, how's Teddy gonna get this house? Well, this will be his driveway. Well, that's on my property.
Okay, well, that's more conversation about that.
He said his survey goes on completely to the other side of the road. So instead of it going to the middle line, like the wall said, he's claiming that his survey goes to the other side of the road.
Okay.
So he owns.
Really, it'd be a boundary line dispute between Vinnie and Teddy.
All right, so what we've got is we're having, hearings today on this, so I think the only one that sounds like we're gonna do further action is 1431 this time. Unless somebody has something different to say, it seems like 3412, 3417, I've got landowners here that are on these roads that are closed. We can't close those, so that's not gonna happen.
Can we make them pass it?
I can't take any action on that, but I know I got to talk to you about it.
I think from talking to Jimmy yesterday, the windmill people were talking about raising those roads up and fixing them.
And let me tell you-
Which will be good.
Let me tell you another conversation we had. So, that's been a long-standing problem. That's like on 57 back and forth. It's been slow raining for years. Matter of fact, talking with Brian Wildy yesterday, we went out there for us to look at it, try to diagnose the problem. They've got notes from 1989 and their NRCS records to show it's slow raining. My take to the NRCS is find the problem and let's fix it. Let's just fix this thing. Why is it taking 30 years? It could be somebody's added on to it. Yeah.
I've been there since it was built.
Okay, so the right,
That's
it's
good.
silted in.
No, it's full of debris from beavers. What's wrong?
Okay.
They'll slide those logs up there and they'll write windows and then just keep building up.
Okay, so you think the downpipe itself, the structure is gonna be fine?
Oh, yeah.
It's structure.
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay, so it's not beaver eradication.
That's what we need. Beaver's gone and it'll be cleaned out.
And it's blacklands?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, working with the NRCS, Brian Wildy, Colvin, we got together yesterday, we talked about this. They're gonna do what they can to get some federal matching funds for it to get the problem resolved. But the short term sounds like we need to find somebody to knock some beavers up.
And I've talked to Encore and their lines go through both those roads.
Okay.
And they're not in favor of close to it. So, and my power comes from there, so is Joe Allen, his daughters, my other house, and a neighbor also, way over there.
Okay, good deal. All right, anybody else here for a road closure we haven't talked about yet? Right? Everybody do speak up, we haven't said something we're gonna do yet.
I think we need to have that bridge.
Okay, once we get it out of the order, yes, most definitely. And I think TechStop will do that for us. We're just gonna have to get the water off this so we can get it looked at. I would not, I would advise nobody to go across that bridge until such time that we've had the ability to have text dot.
But it's underwater right now.
My understanding. Or
It's
water's
all
on
on the
it.
top of it out there.
Right now, you can see the bridge, but we're on the side.
Yeah, I got you.
But Joe Wood just told me that used to be a wooden bridge and all the walls are still wood. They just poured a concrete top on it.
So
So
they'd have to look at it. I'm not certain on that. I'm still part of me buying, or
yeah,
us buying the property side, I'm not certain on that.
Joe Wood's pretty good about it.
Toby built it, so he could get asked.
But Joe Wood said it's wood under there that's been there for years. And since been being underwater for all these years, I won't even drive across it with the county, much less anything else.
Can't drive across the boat now.
All right, we'll continue to try to find a resolution to this. We need that open. We're gonna get worked out with somebody. Again, we'll work with NRCS and Blacklands and that Site 57 issue, get that resolved, because that sounds like a major problem. We get the water off, but then we need to get text dot out, look at the bridge and see what we need to do with that bridge. So, all right, game plan. All right, in which case, we're gonna take no action on 11, 12, 13, or 14 today, and we will bring the County Road 1431 back at a later date. To take action, we'll post notice of that in the paper before we do so. All right, if there's anybody here that's speaking of road closure, speak now, forever hold your peace. All right, we'll see you guys next time we put this on there. So number one, discuss and approve employee wage status changes. I'll give everybody just a second, then we'll stay with us. Grab a seat, you might as well sit, you're standing on that. Sit all day.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. All right, so wage changes today, what we've got is Zach Brown, the Sheriff's Office, 1 year step raise. Retention there, that's great. 1 year step raise for Meredith Busby. I got to meet Busby, nice fella. You got a new hire in the Sheriff's Office. Got a new hire on transport deputy, it's Aisha Rogers, the Sheriff's Office. New hire in dispatcher, that's Tiffany Davis. For those individuals, we have Mackenzie Allen is a new hire in the dispatch as well. Hiring in the dispatch, all right. We got a jail new trainee, Mr. Andrew Mason Oliver. Congratulations, Mr. Oliver. We have Amanda Miller has completed her FTO. We're glad to have her back. Christy Chapman is successful completion field training. Again, Justin Lateen is completion FTO. And Mr. Cassie Harris is 1 year step raise. Walter Shane Hoopen is 1 year mark. Colleen O'Hearn is moving off the job. We wish her the best of luck. Kyle Neville is going to be in charge. He's leaving us. He's going to be in charge of security at White Bluff. Living the life of Riley out there, I guess. Beverly Johnson is retired. Appreciate her many years to Hill County community supervision, community directions. Rebecca Lord is a new hire in the Sheriff's Office. And last but definitely not least, Ms. Sarah Ryan is moving on to greener pastures. So those are the wage changes and employee wage status changes.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion is second, any further discussion? If not, I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, any abstentions? Motion carries. I'll pass it over to you. I don't have a consent agenda, amazingly enough. Oh, if I do, I've reshuffled it and I'll find it in a second. Here, well, here it is individually. Let's do this. Payroll, accounts payable. The payroll. A bunch of minutes to sign. Let's get this to. Are they saying next terror is going to try to go across that bridge?
Rebuild that bridge.
Looks like you're gonna get yourself a bridge.
Well, I raised up, so I'm gonna do that, go get the deal lower, and
We're gonna get
this is
this.
my lucky deal, because they're working up there on that road in northeast part of the county that has been a pain in the backside. And so,
I heard there is some things. All right, moving along. Number 2, consider approved professional service agreement with Tyler Technologies for configuration and training for task management for the court prosecutors and clerks.
Can we put 2 and 15 together?
We can do that, and then we'll just go ahead and take action on 15 afterward, which is consider approved amended agreement with Tyler Technology for the configuration and training to implement e-signature functionality for the judiciary. You got your presentation there?
I have.
All right.
Probably. The first one is the,
The first one is the
workflow. So as you know, we're moving towards Navigator. That's an upgrade of our case management, our attorney manager, jail manager, piece for the judiciary as our software. Our target date is January 27th. And of course, in this full migration to the upgrade, Tyler, of course, in our discussions, lets us know that many of these key components are not ready. So, you get the venue, but you don't get the band and the caterer and all this. So this first piece, Workflow and Task Manager automates many of our daily functions, and I'll give you an example. When the county clerk's office files a complaint information, they can do that electronically. They can move through the courts with electronic signatures. That's one example. Indictments coming from the felony court and district attorney's office, those can be moved through the process electronically. It's those workflows and tasks that are the configuration for automation flows. And the financing is a little tricky because there's more to fill out in IT as it relates to this. And y'all were gracious enough to give me a timeline item, which I'm hoping that by automating these functions, we will have to continue hiring folks. So there's a line item that we have for that now. And this project will come from that. So this is the work. That's a one-time cost. There's no SaaS or annual.
This is for the software.
That's just for this is an implementation of process. So there's a training associated with it, and then there's of course also the configuration. We have the bones of the configuration for virtual task manager, like use task manager and some things. But what this does is it automates the process. In other words, when my girls create like let's say for example, an issuance request comes in to issue a citation. When they do that process, there's about 12 steps that you have to do to create a citation in county. It would automate all 12 steps of that process. And the really great thing about that is that it also pulls in our form configuration so that those forms that are generated, the actual citation itself, that document is also an automated process where they don't have to go open up the form. It will automatically create it and attach it to the event. So, and then it's available for them to send in tasks to one of the workflows. They want to receive it that way. There's some training involved for, of course, the automated processes that happen outside of our office. But many of them work really closely together with the girls in county attorney's office and the district attorney's office and the jail. So many of these processes will be between 3 and 4 people. I want to make it redundant, most of these processes, so that, if I'm not here or if one of my other clerks isn't here, that there's somebody else can grab that task and work through it. So it's just a lot of time consuming, and this piece is going to step into the next piece, which is e-signature. Philip has already ordered the signature
as what this will do for us is allow the judges, the prosecutors, and clerks that are doing issuances to sign a document electronically, where you're not just posting, pasting in a image of the signature, you're actually signing a document. Where it's most beneficial is bench side. So when you're using judgment sentences, the defendant can actually, capture his thumbprint on the topaz, and we can also capture your signature on the signature pad on the judgment, which is really makes the process more efficient. Why? Because most of those things have to go around in the loop to get all the necessary signatures. And then by the time it gets back to us, it's sometimes a couple of days later. When we do it bench side, it will automate the entire process. The judge can sign the document electronically, and so too can the defendant, and we can capture the thumbprint. There's many other, of course, implications for use of the signature pad. But what it does do is it makes that signature realized and verified. So it'll also, I think, work for the prosecutors who are preparing for these and signing those electronically. That will make the process a little more efficient. Of course, associated with all of this is training, and the big piece in e-signatures is there is a SaaS. There's an annual support and maintenance to be associated with it. Why? Because every time Tyler upgrades anything to do with the software or the forms where these signatures are going to reside, it's going to take maintenance to that signature piece. And so they're going to charge us $4,900 a year for maintenance of the signature process. And if you think about that, spending probably $4,000 on paper, as are many of the other offices, probably not that much, but we produce an awful lot of paper. Our goal is to start with court of law and to make that court completely electronic. David already did some county attorney's office pretty paper free. Yeah. But as it relates to our actual case management, the storage of the documents.
I think our 28 will include electronic at that point. Yeah. Including the signature. I'll save enough money in folders over the years, paper, so.
Well, and that's the other piece, we're paying about $3,000 just in case folders.
Yeah.
You have case folders, and about $900 for the stickers to identify them. Yeah. So I think as we move over time, there will be parts of the clerk's budgets that will decrease, and then these pieces of maintenance as we go forward. Of course, they're always amendable, but I think it's a sign of the times. If you want any kind of like support and consistency in that, we're going to have to pay for these critical components. Because here's the challenge: if we don't do this, we can stay in 14 and operate in the paper, mostly paper environment. My theory is that as the courts grow and our case volume increases, 20 years from now, we may have 5 courts of law. What this does is it builds the infrastructure for that growth, so that if it happens, we can look to other counties like Denton or Williamson, who exploded in population and increased their court, and they didn't have to do much. Why? Because they had the infrastructure and software available to them that were able to law. And that's the advantage to this, is to build that infrastructure. And I've asked that everything come out of the district court's budget, and just have to do a transfer from that part-time line item to fill, and then use some work management funds for the deficit. So.
I'm in favor of this because what she's saying is right. It's a situation where we're building infrastructure for future growth. It's going to help us now, but in the future, of course, will make difference. As we've gone on this adventure for the last couple of years in our capital project, we've spent time to get the garbage management facility down here. So, we make a pretty clear argument that we don't believe it's the best use of taxpayer dollar. Pay for concrete square foot buildings, the heat and cool, paper records. So are we generating more when we have the opportunities not to generate more? most of what we do now, we can do electronically. There are some things that cannot be gotten around, but for the most part, there's things like this traffic docket that we run, those tickets. Man, that doesn't generate enough money to justify what we do some days, it's required. But if we can put this in place, I mean, we're paying the envelope, not paying for the paper, not paying, that's just one more savings we're gonna see down the road. I can see this getting implemented in every single court in this county at some point, even JP courts, even my probate court. This is going to be something that's going to be useful. And the fact that Marshall is willing to pay for it entirely is what I'm looking at.
I mean, there's not really any money anywhere else unless Susan has a magic fund. This benefits the entire judiciary. I mean, Nicole and I kind of talked about this whole migration and it is. The idea is that you look at the footprint of the records that we have, you know, everything is in order. What our commitment is to not outgrow that system. In other words, if we're filing 1,000 misdemeanor cases a year, then we have to start back scanning 1,000 cases from 1951 forward, because we're required to keep everything 1950 and back to sovereignty forever. Those are permanent records, even if they're digitized, they're considered. But as we move forward, the idea is that we can go back starting in 1951 and catch up to the early 90s, where our records begin to be electronic. So, in that said, this helps that because I'm not having to pay people to sit down there and scan these and make documents. We're just going to be taking care of history. If we just make electronic records, then we're not going to have to pay people. So that's the challenge going forward. And while we've got plenty of space, I just don't ever want us to outgrow that space. That's the key.
While this continuing cost seems somewhat expensive, I'll let you know that they're way cheaper than what we normally have to do, which is hire an employee to take care of these things in-house. This is a much cheaper alternative. All right, so we have two action items before us at this time. First action item, consider approved professional service agreement, child technology, configuration training, for task management, for court prosecutors and clerks. I would make a motion that we approve. Second. We have a motion and a second to approve the aforementioned motion. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, any abstentions? Then, gentlemen, we're going to jump to number 15, which is consider and approve amended agreement, forgive me, for Tyler Technologies for the configuration, training, and implementing signature functionality for the judiciary part of this program.
And just as a note on this, the SAS will actually begin to deploy these signatures and it will be prorated up with our big agreement and before you pay the annual staff. So my recommendation is that when that happens, we'll take the prorated portion from this year and the next year when we sit down to the budget, we'll remove the portion that I would normally get over into those budgets. So it comes with, so that he can, you know, in years subsequent, pay that out of in our agreement so that it's not. Does that make sense? Sure.
The motion, is there a second?
Second.
Motion is second to approve. Discussions. Hearing none, I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Any abstentions? So the motion passes unanimously.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you. Sorry, I'm signing the announcement folder and tracking down later. All right, number 3, discuss an action on declaring computer hardware surplus. We have it in front of you, and I'm not going to go through the whole list, but it is lines, a copy of it. And this is stuff that's been taken out of service because it's past the sell-by date, so it doesn't any longer have a use for its originally intended purpose, and therefore, by definition, is salvage.
I make a motion.
All right, we'll take a motion in a second to declare the aforementioned property as salvage. Is there any further questions about this? And just to give you guys a run of what's on here, this is old fax machines, old PCs, old printers, the old Tamper camera, that's actually broken. I don't even know why we have that still, I don't know why it's down there. You know, just a bunch of stuff, some old switches.
What miscellaneous things, that they're taking up space, we need to.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, any abstentions? Carries unanimously. Next is discussion action on selling this hardware. Mr. Katz.
I'm fine with that, it does have to go to auction.
Yeah, he's online, he's online options. Yeah, that's about it. It's gonna take more time and trouble to put it out than we're ever gonna get back, but that's just the rules and we're gonna obey them, so. So I'll make a motion that we advertise, online bid. Mr. Katz here in the county to sell salvage equipment. Motion and a second, any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, motion carries. All right. Number 5, discuss an action resolution to participate in the regional Heart of Texas sexual assault response team and select nominees to serve as members. Gentlemen, there was a bill that went through in this last session of the Texas legislature that amended chapter 351 of the local government code, basically requiring every county to have a sexual assault response team. And it lays out who those nominees are. So it's kind of an unfunded mandate, you know, kind of is an unfunded mandate of the counties. The good news is counties over 200,000 population can band together and go together to do this in groups. Instead of having just each individual county have to have that themselves. So we've addressed the COG on this issue, and the COG has said, yeah, this is a great place for us to step up. We can run this. Resolution together, and it's whereas in the interest of establishing processes for investigating and prosecuting sexual assaults through client-centered trauma-informed approach. The Texas Local Government Code, Chapter 351, Subchapter J, Section 351-252 mandates the Commissioners Board establish an adult sexual assault response team. Whereas the adult sexual assault response team is intended to consist of experts to improve practice in the investigation and prosecution of sexual assaults, while also prioritizing the health and safety of survivors. Texas Local Government Code, Chapter 51, Subsection J. Section 351-252 mandates the Commissioners Board appoint key members to the sexual assault response team. Whereas understanding the unique nature of rural counties and the availability of resources in these areas to respond to sexual assault cases, the Texas Local Government Code allows 2 or more counties, each with a population of 250,000 or less, within a contiguous area, partner to form a multi-county response team. Whereas the Heart of Texas Council of Governments, in its mission to improve regional cooperation, improve the health, safety, and general welfare of the residents in the 6 county areas, creating the Heart of Texas Sexual Assault Response Team under its existing criminal justice program, therefore be it resolved that Hill County exercises its right to partner with other counties in the region by participating in the Heart of Texas Sexual Assault Response Team. Furthermore, the persons that are appointed, hereby appointed by the Hill County Commissioners Court to serve on the Heart of Texas Sexual Assault Response Team representing Hill County. And here's where we get to start throwing folks some new work. Prosecutor, it's got to be the district attorney's office. There's no way around that one. So I can appoint Mr. Pratt or whoever he chooses to go in his seat. Doesn't have to be him. So I think the easy thing to do is appoint Mr. Pratt, and then he and his office can delegate that authority to whoever you want it to be. Well, you know what, Matt's gonna get thrown under the bus then, so Matt Boyle, B-O-Y-L-E. All right, and then we're gonna have the county sheriff. You wanna do it yourself, you get a designee? I'll go ahead and do it. Okay, so we have Sheriff Rodney Watson. It apparently didn't take into effect how bad my handwriting was to get the size of the place to write folks' name in. Police chief, largest city, it's a requirement, so that's going to be Chief Tony Kane. Yeah, some of these are no-brainers, it pretty much is. For a sexual assault nurse examiner, one of the problems doing this individual, that every county has the same nurse. So basically how this is going to work out, there's Mickey Dye, it's the same for that area, and they use Mickey. And then mental health behavioral, MHMR, again, that's not an appointment we directly have to make. That is somebody from the regional MHMR level thing. So that puts together the sexual assault team, response team for Hill County. And any other questions about this?
Make a motion to approve it.
Okay. Second. Motion and a second to approve. Bear with me just a second. All right, in which case, I'll call a question. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. I'll get that over. That is, I don't like where this order is. Back to you guys. Number 6, discussion action on joining the Attorney General's office on the opioid settlement agreement. You gentlemen, we heard the presentation last time. We know there's money coming. I would say that we probably need to take advantage of this. No problem, we definitely need to take advantage of it. It's out there, and they've done the work, so we can use these monies, and so 100,000, that's what I heard change. Those monies can be used for several different things, and basically offset the cost our law enforcement has of prosecuting on our court system, has prosecuting these cases and enforcing these things. So it'd be my recommendation to this body that we participate in the Attorney General office opioid settlement agreement. Thank you. And we have a second. So I guess I made a motion. We'll have to do that. So we have a second for Commissioner Montgomery and a third for Commissioner Hodges. All right, anything further? Any further questions about that? If not, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. Next on our agenda is bonds. We got Julia Peter with the 66th Judicial District Court. We have, that's it. Julia Petters, our only folks got there.
Make the motion approved.
Second.
Motion is second to approve the aforementioned bond. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Any abstentions? Number 8, discuss and approve final plat for Glen Meadows. Gentlemen, this is a preliminary plat that we approved last time. This plat has no roads, no parks, no nothing. It's just, 5 2+ acre lots. So it's in front of you now for your approval as final plat. Sauk County Road 1322.
So make a motion.
Okay, motion second to approve final plat. And he has met the requirements for final plat. So I'll call the question. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Any abstentions? How many copies? How many copies? Yeah, the rules of Jesse, I need to get Jesse off to get that taken care of, so we can update it, the updated rules. Oh, yeah, no, I got you. But it's just so much easier to do everything with electronics. Question, everybody's good. Number 9, discuss an action on Hill County Christmas party. So apparently, gentlemen, we got the gig. What do we do? Thanksgiving's 2 days away. I heard we'll start talking about this at some point. I didn't realize the commission wound up with this again. So
I believe somebody made the motion. Wasn't he?
Yeah.
I was proposing. I didn't make no.
did you operate on this?
I think it.
I remember it myself.
I think the clerk's office over there.
You know,
I think the district clerk's office is a fire idea.
oh, she left. That was smooth. Yeah.
I think you did an awesome job last year. I think that's.
Well, last year, the pandemic raging as it was, we were kind of hesitant to get together. So what we did last year was a barbecue truck outside. Now, the problem I've got right now is I don't have a fair, testing until the fair. Yes, sir.
We could use the half of the fairgrounds and use for a door prize.
You know what?
They're not using I mean, since it's drive-through, all they're doing is just sitting outside. We could make that facility work.
Okay, so you think we can make it work?
Yes, sir.
Let's make it work then. Kick them out.
We're not kicking them out, Cole. Again, we got with the concrete that's down there, if you wanted to do the trucks again, there's plenty of room for them to park. But I mean, we could make that the entrance for people.
Well, we've done barbecue 5 years in a row. We're still doing that, or what you guys want to do for Christmas? You got, I mean, I'm asking you, you want to eat? What do you want to eat?
Thanks for it.
Oh, anything in particular?
Barbecue sauce. It's not broke, don't fix it.
Is what?
If it's not broke, don't fix
I ain't saying it's broke, now, I'm not gonna get it wrong, I mean, if everybody likes barbecue, I'll go along and get one.
it. If we're gonna keep getting nominated for this, we'll just do what we want. They can change it up if they want.
That's what I'm saying, if we were like a bunch of, Mediterranean food, maybe they wouldn't call us. That's all I'm trying to say, you do a bad enough job at my house, my wife won't let me do it.
What about Taco Bell?
Yeah. They're working on that, unfortunately. Yeah. So. All I'm saying is, what do we want to do, seriously? We got to come up with a solution. Because I do want to show appreciation, we got to go through the, I've spoken for a number of years, so, Ron, on the,
I think we have to work with you.
okay.
That was, it's not traditional, so it's not gonna be effective with it. Holiday meal, the gifts,
County picking up the bill for this again this year? Okay. That's all. Well, sounds like we have that part covered. So barbecue at the fairground. Okay.
How about the 25th?
15th on Wednesday.
25th, pretty cramped, right? So I got a calendar up here. 17th Friday. No, I'm not that Friday, that's one point out. When is that? Monday. No, at noon, right? So what about the 21st? Is that too close to Christmas? No. Noon hour, yeah, feed everybody. So do you like the Monday or Tuesday?
Because 21st, all my guys are there off the rest of the week.
What's that?
All my guys are taking off the 21st.
So you
That
got,
be their last day.
so do the 20th or the 21st?
Either one.
21st is Tuesday.
Who's in charge?
You.
Huh? I thought it was you doing.
Well, the 21st is usually the day I feed all my guys at lunch.
So I can absolve you of spending that money this year.
They're a good crew.
Yeah.
21st.
21st? No, not right now. Not right now.
It'd be the 28th, be regular court.
And you may ask yourself, why are we having a discussion about a Christmas party in an open commissioner's court? It's very simple, because commissioners got put in charge of this, we cannot talk to each other outside of this quorum, so in order to have an active discussion, we've got to talk about it at a posted meeting, just for anybody listening at home. Considering what we're talking about, it's a very important thing. So the 21st at noon at the fairgrounds. Does that sound good to everybody? So barbecue. I'm gonna reach out to Tony Easterling, who's on his backyard again. If that's nobody got an objection to that. I don't know who else does this kind of stuff. I'll get a price from him and I'll try to find a little party too. Menu, 2 meats and sides.
Sounds good.
Okay.
21st.
Tea. Tea, water, sodas.
Beer.
You're in charge of the cookies.
I figured that would say.
Beer goes with barbecue.
Yeah. Cookies too. Okay, so, all right, we can do that. We can make that happen. Anything else we didn't discuss that we need to plan for as part of this listen? We got a location, we got a time. We got. Meal plan.
Yeah. that is-
Yes, Bill, we're good. All right, well, I don't know that we have to take formal action on this by any means whatsoever, but, so that's where I'm headed for then is December the 21st at noon at the Hill County Fairgrounds, the Christmas party. All are invited, so make sure the word gets out once the SO and once you do share. All right, so good deal. Next, number 10, discuss and approve proposal for holding pens for Hill County Animal Control. Gentlemen, we went back out for bid for this. We've got 2 bids in, it's the only 2. One is from JR Services and one is from Ice Construction. JR Services bid comes in at, bear with me, I'm gonna quote the exact number to you, $72,625. That's for the holding pens and loafing shed. Ice Constructions comes in at $96,144.78. I think JR Services is going to be a little bit here. These are sizable pins. I mean, yeah, that's JR Services, the fellow named Swimmer. Okay. Remember James Swimmer, we were Swimmer, the Highway Patrol, the Highway Patrol officer, Swimmer. Yes, James is his son, Chris. He was in court a couple of months back about the next door neighbor, one of those, ex-spin or something. So.
The guys that work for us, like doing, water. Water gas and stuff. It's very precise. He goes above and beyond to make sure it's done right. And they do it for a while.
Okay.
He knows his.
He's apparently a little bit. We gotta get moving on this because before they can start building our life, we're gonna have to put pins up. So are you good with that? You drew the pins, I mean, so I hope you're good with it.
Are you giving pony rides down there to sheriff department?
Oh, I'll make a motion to accept, JR Services.
All right.
They say a little funny there.
People have tried, but we haven't.
They never go the other day, they could get a little buggy and do a good show.
Oh my goodness. All right, so we've got a motion, is there a second? Motion and a second to accept the proposal from JR Services, construct straight pin at 406 Hall Street. Do we need a kind of contract with this kind of construction, AIA or something? We got a proposal I can sit in Mr. Swinford. Thank you. All right. Yes, ma'am. That's your thoughts. Okay. And dirt work at a time, yes, some dirt work needs to be done back there.
It's real low, it's got a little, if getting dirt filled, that'd be great, or I can move the pins up on top of the hill a little farther east.
Why don't you grab one of the commissioners and take them out there and look at it and see what's the more doable thing?
Yeah, if they are where they're originally at right now, there's gonna be some dirt filled that needs to be.
It looked like 3 or 4 feet of fill is gonna have to be put in there.
Exactly, down the middle, right down the
Yeah.
middle, but if you move it farther east and up to y'all, then less fill will have to be used for that.
The further west, the further it is from the residential areas, so.
Yeah, and I guess the further west the better, if we can, but again, at the same time, yeah, we can't.
Because it drops off right down in that bottom.
You can't have 3 foot swell in the middle of it either, so. Figure that out. All right, well, there's a motion and a second, some discussion, any further discussion? If not, I'll call the question, all in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Number 16, remember, we took care of 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 already. 16, discussion action application for Minor Platt. Are you gentlemen are Minor Platt?
Yes, I'm here representing Miami.
Show me what you got today, sir.
Okay, we're gonna come around.
Leave right here, I don't have a copy of this. So, what's going on?
Okay, so Miami, this is 2114, they've been 2114 and 933, runs over here. And so she has about 5.5 acres now. And a couple years ago, they surveyed off 2. And since then, my uncle's passed away, and she wants to sell that.
Okay, did they do the plat application and all that, do you know?
I don't believe so.
Okay, I need to get them to do that to comply with the rules. It's not a big thing. I don't think this is gonna present you in trouble.
Okay.
But I gotta be a stickler for the letter of the rules.
Absolutely.
I say, we're gonna hang around there for this meeting. I'll show you what that application is and everything. That way we can get that done, get that done.
Okay.
Sounds good. Wonderful. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. All right, so we're gonna take no action at this time on number 16. Number 17, term report, monthly reports on fee offices. We have on our monthly reports on fee offices from the Honorable Susan Swilling, your county auditor, this is your tax office report. As you can see on that first page, we continue to have an incredible number of OSF funding applications. That's I got 28 last month. 28 by 70 tank applications. That's something else.
So very formal. And he had done Saturday, and he had gone out, done his work for 4 unions on Friday. So many people come.
Yes, sir.
And if Rusty gets all of his lots going, that's about 275 residences in my precinct. And I'm sure it's the same, everybody else. 275, that's a lot.
Yes,
I got one subdivision over there. I can't remember how many acres it is, 1,500 or something like that. And they're selling them off in 5 acre tracts.
I heard it.
Oh, that's so, 10 acre tracts.
Okay, right now,
Since the next letter, that's over. Man.
oh, is it?
Monty.
Yeah, Monty.
And I heard there's another one coming in my precinct, 100 and something acres.
Wow. I know that right now Simpson's got,
No, not that one.
where's that one that Simpson brought us the other day? 1,000 acres they provided in 10 acre tracts.
That's fine,
That's you.
These are the ones rebuilding my roads, which is super. I can all these roads rebuilt. We're gonna have one every few weeks, we put on here, someone come along, rebuild them for me, that's a good deal.
Wow. All right, so we got the observed report, monthly reports on fee office. Any questions on the monthly report on fee offices in front of you?
Make a motion with.
A motion and second to approve the monthly report on fee offices. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, any abstentions, motion carries. Last but not least, number 18, observed report, chapter 59, report of county attorney, constable district attorney. As you recall, the report approves Mrs. Swilling to do this, that would be really out of luck if she didn't. That being said, she has chapter 59 reports for this commissioners board meeting, and we can go through this thing and see what all we have to appoint to the attorney general's office.
Make a motion to approve this report.
Second.
Report.
Motion and second to observe report, chapter 59 reports from the county attorney, constable, and district attorney. Any further commentary? If not, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, any abstentions, motion carried. Mr. Brown.
I had one thing,
Yes, sir.
let's don't give away some new caps this year in the Christmas party.
Okay.
I know where my buddy out last year, or 2 years ago.
Well, who's in charge of solicitation of gifts for this thing? I remember that.
They were.
Are y'all soliciting? Oh, so y'all gonna have to go solicit gifts? I can't solicit anything, seriously. The city judge, that's no, you don't do that.
Oh.
Yeah, but I didn't solicit.
I'm busy that day.
Oh, suddenly. Suddenly we got ideas and then we're busy.
Caps it is.
All the officials just donate something.
I like that idea, that's right. I like doing
I'll
something
bring
to
something,
kids.
you know.
Yeah, I'll bring a cab.
We'll encourage all elected officials to donate something for the door prize. I think every one. Yeah. Okay.
Make a motion, Jerry.
Motion second.
That's not bad.
Let's go.
Hoping you can get out there, you should do well.
I should have read it.
I didn't look at it.
She's on.
I couldn't get a couple of years ago.
Yeah. The enterprise.
But the good news is-
Yes, that was the enterprise.
He's consistent.